A magical valley with beauty abounding, a musical valley with talent astounding, an artisan's valley with craftsmen unending, a paradise valley and well worth commending to those who love music and singing and dancing, or craftsmanship perfect, or landscapes entrancing. It's known as the Huon and is truly exquisite, and no matter what season, it's well worth a visit.
Look, I'd like to try and dance to it. So be some sort of da 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 da. We're both from old Tasmanian families. I'm sixth generation Tasmanian. Marjorie's about the same. What I became aware of was that there was a very strong, continuous tradition of dance tunes being played and dances being done, passed from generation to generation. Music that had come from around the world, that had come from Scotland, England, Ireland, the Americas, Scandinavia, Poland and France, and tunes had cross-pollinated with other tunes from other places. Up until the mid-1960s, when the apple shed and shearing shed and mutton bird shed dances died out, I got in contact with the National Library and I got everything they had. They just got them to send me all the tapes they had. And the next 2 years I was sitting around listening to the tapes, trying to figure out how to play them on guitar mostly, getting Marjorie to check my transcriptions and writing them down, and eventually coming up with some great tunes. And Marjorie immediately said, well, that'd be a good teaching tune.
Such traditional music and telling of tales is rife in the Huon, and rarely it fails to bring pleasure to all, as it did long ago. And rather than fade, it continues to grow.
Folk music tends to have a simple structure, and so it's accessible for beginners, but particularly for children. And it's brilliant what Steve and Marjorie Gadd have done to take a traditional repertoire and have their music students use that as a performance vehicle. Also, the whole idea that they're playing something from their own history. Music can really give someone a sense of pride and a sense of purpose and a sense of place. And traditional folk music has a really good way of doing that.
From England and Scotland and Ireland they sailed, and with music and song and stories regaled each other with many a jovial party. Some sober, some not, but predictably hearty.
The apple industry was very strong in the 1950s, and we exported to lots of countries throughout over the world. Everything came to a halt while the apple season was on. Everything started either before the apple season or after the apple season. And it would start in March and it'd go through till June. They certainly worked hard, very hard, but didn't do anyone any harm. We all survived. And they decided, at Cygnet actually, it was a Catholic priest got the idea, why didn't we have an apple festival to celebrate the apple industry? And it went for about 10 years. It was very successful. It was the first weekend in March. They had apple packing competitions, box making competitions, you name it, they had it. And then they decided to have an apple queen contest. It certainly wasn't a beauty contest, otherwise I'd have won it, but I had a bit of knowledge of the apple industry, so they had a panel of judges, and you had to go to a ball and a luncheon, I think. But when England joined the common market in 1973, that was a blow to the apple industry here, because all countries were able to get fruit into England, which we used to have a privilege because we're a member of the Commonwealth.
There were apple sheds for packing and sorting apples all around the valley, and these were dormant in summer. And what people suddenly realised was that they made great dance sheds.
Some of my relatives at Port Huon, they'd row the boat across to Craddock and they would walk over the hill to Cygnet to a dance, and then they'd probably dance all night and walk back the next day.
Folk music at its very best With many national guests, you'll find a Cygnet every year in January, and you will hear, along with crowds 5,000 strong, traditional music, rhyme and song. And for 3 days and lengthy nights, this festival is pure delight.
I think it's more the storytelling in folk that I particularly like. Yeah, weaves the story through, the lyrics.
Everybody's talking about the smooth.
It is, yeah. Folk means people. It means culture and introduction to other cultures.
Folk is for the folks. Yeah, it captures them all.
Hello. Hey, we had a great time at Cygnet. It's fantastic.
The artists are very accessible. Rock and roll they're out there, and behind stage, and it's the people and the rock and roll. Whereas if you wanna stand up and make a noise, you can do it.